Hello ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? It's your boy izlogic.business. Welcome you to this week's Anarchy Analysis Predictions video, where we're covering the Grand Finals weekend here in both the LEC and the LCS. And we've got 4 games in total for this weekend, 2 of which we're covering in this video because, spoiler alert, we don't know the opponents in the other 2 matches because they're already in the grand final, and it's going to be interesting to see which teams actually progress forward here. Now, we've got to cover the results for last week, and there's 5 games in total that actually are quite interesting to actually talk about. Nonetheless, let us jump into today's video where we can look at these results and then the predictions. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, also leave a like and a subscription down below, and let's just jump straight into things. So, let us jump into that Twitter prediction from last week. Rogue vs Mad took place on Sunday, in which we saw Rogue go up 3-0 and beat Mad in a clean sweep. I predicted Rogue would win this 3-2, I expected it to be close, but instead we got an absolute stomp from Rogue, and you'll see in the description a link to my Mad vs Rogue Game 1 cast, and that was my first time actually watching that game as a whole, so be sure to check that video out. I'm sure you'll enjoy it, because I put a bit of effort into that video. Anyway, let's go over the other results here and now. Mad vs Schalke was the game 1 in the LEC last weekend, and it saw Mad win the series 3-1 after we predicted Schalke winning against them and securing their world spot and completing that miracle run. I was a firm believer in the miracle run. Sadly, it had to come to an end last weekend, but nonetheless, we're gonna see what happens as our game 2 was the upper bracket finals, which saw G2 taking on Fnatic. Now, I predicted a G2 stomp here 3-1 over Fnatic, and we could have actually have had that if G2 did not throw in their second game in this series with a Herald play that cost them the Baron, and then the game after that. But as I say, Fnatic won this series as our first series in the LEC in forever, went to all 5 games, and this year has looked phenomenal for the LEC, having probably the most interesting season so far in a long time, and as a whole, G2 and Fnatic turning up in playoffs is actually surprising considering how bad their regular splits actually were as a whole. Nonetheless, that rounds up our LEC results. Let's have a look-see over at the LCS right now. And our first matchup of the week was the Anarchy Analysis matchup of the week, which saw C9 taking on TSM. This series I predicted a TSM win. Normally when it's these 2 teams facing off against each other, I never predict a TSM winner. I predicted a 3-2 affair. We did not get that. We instead got a TSM stomp more than anything over C9 in a 3-1 victory, and I did a full series breakdown on my channel. I'll link that in the description as well. Be sure to check that one out, and I should also point out the Anarchy Analysis match of the week for the LEC is currently being made. I've just not had time to finish it, obviously with this video, the TSM series, and then a couple of other videos like the full game cast of the Rogue and Madline series, considering the fact that there's 5 series that I have to watch and get the results of and kind of judge how to make predictions. I'm not doing too badly in terms of making videos. And the last series that we haven't talked about yet is probably the most surprising. FlyQuest versus Team Liquid. I predicted Team Liquid winning this series 3-2. Instead, I do believe we saw FlyQuest winning it 3-1, I think. I don't remember the actual result. I can have a look-see right now and actually tell you, but I do believe it was a 3-1 to FlyQuest. If not, I'm a bit dumb, and no one really cares. It was a 3-2, so it actually went all 5 games. So that is actually huge, and we're going to see how these two teams look into finals weekend. But nonetheless, that is the actual results for last week. Now it's time we actually jump into our actual totals for the results and our actual results overall. So, last week we saw our results come through. Out of the 3 games in the LEC, we got 1 correct. It was not a perfect prediction, but it's still the correct result. That takes our grand total in the LEC up to 55 out of 96, and leaving us with a possibility of 57 out of 98. As for the LCS, we scored 1 out of 2. That's pretty good considering it was a TSM C9 series, which was close, and the other was pretty much a surprising result. That takes us up to 70 out of 101, with a possibility of 72 out of 103 games/series. Now, without further ado, it's time we jump into this week's predictions, where we've got a couple of games to discuss. So, our first matchup this week is not the Anarchy Analysis matchup, and the Anarchy Analysis matchups of the week will be the Grand Finals. Oh, these semi-final matches are going to be very important to discuss, as the first one is G2 versus Rogue here, and as a whole, I think this series will be a very good matchup. I think that these two teams deserve to be where they are right now. G2 as a whole look the better of 2 rosters though, in my opinion. So I've gone with a 3-1 to G2 here, purely based on the strength of the rosters and because of the fact that G2 actually challenged Fnatic, whereas Rogue kind of fell off and did not look good at all. Nonetheless, let us move into our second matchup for this week, where we can discuss the result. Our second matchup in this video sees Team Liquid taking on TSM in a matchup for the top group spots instead of having to go through the play-ins here. This is going to be an interesting matchup, as TSM as a whole looked very, very impressive against C9, and C9 were no slouches. They're a very strong team, and I think this series is going to be very close. I think it's going to be explosive. But do I think TSM will win it? No, I do not. I've gone with a 3-2 to Team Liquid here, based purely on the strength of these rosters and the previous encounters by these two teams. TSM have thrown around the Drake Soul twice against Team Liquid, and that is kind of costed them in their series, though they have been very competitive, and I think that we will be seeing all 5 games yet again in a TSM series ahead of that FlyQuest game on the Sunday. Nonetheless, that is going to be it for our video predictions. Let us actually end this video off correctly. So, that's the end of our video predictions. Be sure to hit subscribe, like, and also turn on the notification bell for more uploads and actual content based around the LEC and LCS. As well as GTA 5, the full story mode is going up on my channel alongside these videos. I'm finishing off that Let's Play after taking a bit of a hiatus from it, from obviously doing the Pokemon stuff. But as well as that, it's also nice to note that we've got 2 games, including FlyQuest versus either Team Liquid or TSM, and Fnatic facing either G2 or Rogue this weekend. Them predictions will be going up on my Twitter. As you can see on screen, it's at izl33. Be sure to check it out because I will post my predictions there. And then next week's video, which probably will come out on the Monday, will essentially address the results for this stuff. Nonetheless, that's going to be it for this episode of the predictions. And the last predictions video of the LEC and LCS for 2020. If you enjoyed it, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new around here if you want to. And I will see you guys for, who knows, the world's predictions videos. Alright, peace out.